Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. The Week 4 games in the 2023 NFL season are coming around the corner. The first 3 weeks of the season has brought a lot of surprises, but also a lot of things that we were expecting as well. But I'm going to go over every Week 4 NFL game and see which teams I think will win and which teams I think will lose. Now, the Thursday night prime video game is between the Detroit Lions traveling on the road to the Green Bay Packers. Both of these teams are 2-1. Detroit looked pretty good last week in their win over Atlanta, while Green Bay, they were able to sneak out a win over the New Orleans Saints after Derek Carr unfortunately went down with an injury. Jordan Love's been solid this season for Green Bay, but he still made some mistakes. Jared Goff, he's a veteran quarterback, and he has had a solid tenure so far with the Lions the last couple years. He's been getting more weapons acquired around him. The Lions are doing a good job under Dan Campbell, making sure that Jared Goff has a solid team around him. Even though this game's on the road, it's always tough to win at Lambeau Field. It's not in December or January where it's much tougher to win there. I feel like the Detroit Lions are going to go on the road and get the job done against the Green Bay Packers, winning 24-21. Then to move on to the Sunday games, we have a morning matchup in London, England between the Atlanta Falcons and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're even having it where on ESPN Plus as well, it's going to be set up like Toy Story, so that's going to be pretty cool to see. But the Atlanta Falcons, they're 2-1 and Jacksonville's 1-2. The Jaguars surprisingly have had a slow start to the season. Trevor Lawrence has not been putting up the stats that he put up last year, but it's still early in the season. Maybe the Jaguars can get it turned around. Desmond Ridder, he's got some talent around him, and the Falcons defense has helped them pick up a couple wins this season. But I don't know. Atlanta lost last week, and maybe their momentum's going to be slowing down. Jacksonville really needs a bounce back win, and they are at home. I'm going to go with Jacksonville to beat Atlanta 21-17. Then to move on to the 1 o'clock Sunday games, you have the Miami Dolphins fresh off their obliteration of the Denver Broncos, winning 70-20. They're traveling on the road to the Buffalo Bills. This is a solid matchup here because Buffalo is a good team. They got a big win last week, and Josh Allen's looking more and more comfortable. But Tua Tagovailoa, he's a great quarterback. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are some of the best weapons at wide receiver any quarterback could ask for, and the Dolphins have been playing opportunistic defense. I could see the Bills pulling out this win because their home environment is insane, and this is the tallest task Miami's had to face so far. But I feel like the Dolphins train is going to keep rolling. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, who are currently 3-0, to move to 4-0 and beat the Buffalo Bills 35-28 to move Buffalo to 2-2 on the season. Then you got the Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears. Both of these teams are 0-3. Both of these teams are really struggling. Russell Wilson threw for 300 yards last week against the Dolphins, but it did not matter in their big loss. And Justin Fields, he's been turnover prone this season, but he's not getting too much help around him. But still, he does need to cut down on the turnovers. I think that both these teams really need this game to get a win on the record books to maybe help them have a chance for this season to not be completely a wash. It is at Chicago. I don't trust either team, but I'm going to go with Chicago with the home field advantage to beat Denver 17-10 for the Bears to get their first win of the season. Then you got the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Another underrated game right here. Both these teams are 2-1 on the season. The Browns actually have been a decent surprise with the way Deshaun Watson's playing. The Baltimore Ravens, they've had some ups and downs, but Lamar Jackson overall has looked pretty solid. This game is on the road, and it's going to be a tough environment in Cleveland, but I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Cleveland Browns 28-21. I think they're just a bit better of a team on both sides of the ball. Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is 1-2. Cincinnati's 1-2. But Joe Burrow looked a little bit better in the Monday Night Football win over the Los Angeles Rams for the Bengals to get their first win of the season. Ryan Tannehill's been up and down. King Henry's playing well, but I just don't think that Tennessee has enough offense. They only put up 3 points last week. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to have a bit more offense here. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow to get the Cincinnati Bengals' second win of the season and knock off the Tennessee Titans on the road 24-14. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Rams, they're 1-2 on the season, and the Colts are 2-1. I don't think many people were expecting the Colts to be 2-1 at this point in the season, but Anthony Richardson has been playing really well. He did get banged up, and he's out with a concussion right now. Gardner Minshew has been filling in, and he's been playing well. But whoever does play at quarterback this week for the Colts is capable, whether it's Anthony Richardson or it is Gardner Minshew. Matthew Stafford's looked pretty solid, but he got roughed up a bit at the Cincinnati Bengals. That pass rush sacked him like 6 times in that game. The Rams' offensive line is going to have to protect him better in this game if the Rams want to win. But I do do feel like that the Rams are going to move to 2-2 on the season and knock the Indianapolis Colts down to 2-2 as well. I'm going to go with the Rams to beat the Colts 21-20. Then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Both of these NFC South teams are 2-1. And Baker Mayfield looked really good at the start of this season, but he struggled a bit last week, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, even though the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the better NFL teams. The New Orleans Saints, they should have been 3-0 if they had been able to beat the Green Bay Packers last week, but Derek Carr got knocked out of the game. We do not know if he's going to be able to play in this game. If he is, I think the Saints have a good chance to win. If he does not, then there is a good chance that they could lose, but I think there is a shot that he will play, and the Saints do have a great defense, and it's at home. And Baker Mayfield did look a little riled by that Philadelphia Eagles pressure. There is a chance that the Saints put the exact same amount of pressure on Baker Mayfield as the Eagles did. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-21. Then you add the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles at home playing against the Washington Commanders. Washington has been a decent surprise to start the year. Eric Bieniemy has had that offense rolling, but the Commanders got shellacked last week by the Buffalo Bills. Sam Howell threw 4 interceptions, and it was by far his worst performance in the NFL. In Philadelphia, they've got a great defense. Jalen Hurts looked better last week, and the Eagles are starting to run the ball better, even without Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, and Kenneth Gainwell on the ground have been getting the job done. And I think that the Eagles defense is going to get to Sam Howell. Philadelphia should score enough points in this game. I'm going to go with the Eagles to move to 4-0 on the season, stay undefeated, and knock the Commanders back to 2-2 with a 31-14 win. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. Both of these teams are 0-3. Minnesota is kind of shocking that they are 0-3, but they've had some close losses. They're a more talented team than the Carolina Panthers. Kirk Cousins still has Justin Jefferson on the offense, and I still think that their defense is solid, even though they haven't been doing enough to get wins. Carolina, whether Bryce Young or Andy Dalton plays, who knows which quarterback it will be. The Panthers actually looked a little bit better with Andy Dalton in the game at the Seattle Seahawks, but their defense just could not slow down that Seahawks offense. Maybe they can slow down Kirk Cousins. If Andy Dalton's in the game, maybe he will be composed enough, especially with Carolina at home, to help them get the first win of the year. But I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get their first win of the season and keep the Carolina Panthers winless with a 21-13 win. And for the last 1 o'clock game on Sunday, you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. Houston looked good last week. They got their first win of the season, and they actually won that game in pretty good fashion. C.J. Stroud's been the best rookie by far in the NFL, and this game's at home. Maybe they can get the job done, but Pittsburgh, they have a good defense. Kenny Pickett, he has made some mistakes, but he was able to play well enough in their win last week to move to 2-1 on the year. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to keep the Houston Texans at bay and win 24-13. Then you've got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers at 4:05 p.m. The Chargers have been a disaster to start the year. They're 1-2, playing much worse football than a lot of people were expecting, but Justin Herbert is still a talented quarterback. Austin Eckler being out has been a big difference, but the Las Vegas Raiders, they showed some cracks last week in their loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were not too impressive in that game. Jimmy Garoppolo threw a couple of picks. This game's on the road. I'm going to go with the Chargers to beat the Raiders 28-14. Then you've got the Dallas Cowboys at home versus the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 1-2, and the Cowboys are 2-1. I thought the Cowboys were going to be 3-0 for sure. After they obliterated the Giants and the Jets, they go on the road and choke against the Arizona Cardinals. That was a tough loss. Dallas always usually has a propensity to lose games that they should, but they are a much more talented team than New England. They should win this game, but they should have also beat Arizona as well. Mac Jones, to his credit, has not been playing terrible football. He actually has been playing much better than he played last year, but this game's on the road, and I feel like Dallas is going to be angry that they lost that game last week. I feel like Dallas is going to bounce back and beat the New England Patriots 28-21. Then you have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. Arizona surprisingly knocked off the Dallas Cowboys last week. The Arizona Cardinals got their first win of the season with Joshua Dobbs at the quarterback position. Arizona, I feel like, has some talent. The way that they played against the Dallas Cowboys gives you some hope that maybe they can get some wins this season, but maybe Dallas really just played bad in that game. San Francisco is way too talented on both sides of the ball. They've been dominating in all of their 3 wins to start the year. I'm going to go with the 49ers to beat the Arizona Cardinals 31-10. Then on Sunday Night Football, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the New York Jets. With Aaron Rodgers out, Zach Wilson's really been struggling. Even Joe Namath has been really disappointed in the offense as a whole for the New York Jets. Their defense hasn't been doing enough to slow down the opposing offenses that they've been playing and giving the offense a chance to be able to hang in games, especially with the offense struggling. Kansas City, even though they've had some offensive woes of their own compared to the way that they've been playing the last couple years. You still got Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic quarterback, and the receiving core, I think, is good enough despite the flaws to be able to go on the road and get this win. If Aaron Rodgers was playing for the Jets, maybe it would be a little bit closer, but I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to comfortably win over the New York Jets 35-13. And then on Monday Night Football, you got a sneaky matchup with the Seattle Seahawks traveling on the road to the New York Giants. Seattle is a much better team at home. Their home atmosphere is insane, but with Geno Smith having to take that good offense on the road with Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, we're going to have to see how they can perform going all the way to New York. But the Giants have been struggling. Their defense has not been playing that well outside of a couple of players, and their offense with Daniel Jones has just not been able to get much going since Saquon Barkley's injury. I think New York can hang in this game, especially if they can rattle Seattle on the road. But I'm going to go with Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks to move to 3-1 on the season and knock New York down to 1-3 with a 24-14 win on Monday Night Football. So those are the Week 4 games in the 2023 NFL season. There's a lot of good matchups and a lot of teams that are desperately looking for wins. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about the Week 4 NFL games and all of my picks for every single Week 4 game. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.